One of the great success stories of computing has been the handheld device. These include PDAs, cell phones, and even small video players. Many of these devices contain more processing power and storage than the original Macintosh, yet they cannot perform many office tasks such as spreadsheets and word processing because of their extremely small screen size. Suppose we could lay our handheld down on the table, perform a little magic, snap our fingers, and our spreadsheet spills onto the tabletop. We can see so much more than we could before. We can now rotate it. We can also scroll it with our fingers. Many things are possible that the handheld alone can't do. But this is not real, it's just video magic. This is a Sony Vaio-UX handheld computer. It's a little larger than the handhelds that we would like to use, but it's easy to program for our demo. We've attached to it a conductive frame that establishes an electrical connection between the user's grasp and these three conductive feet. With this, we can sense the Vaio's position. Here the user has placed their handheld computer upon the table surface. The spreadsheet is spilled onto the surface so it's easy to see, and with their fingers they can scroll around. The handheld can be repositioned to position the work in a more comfortable place, including arbitrary rotations, whichever way is comfortable for the user. This can also be used in a multiple person scenario to pass work across the table to someone else, who then grasps the handheld, positions the work, finds what they're looking for, and passes it back. This multi-user scenario works naturally once we've spilled things onto the tabletop. This is something a handheld could not do well. We now zoom in and make modifications to the cells. In this case, it's using a soft keyboard, which is what this particular handheld supports. When the changes have been made, they propagate throughout the spreadsheet, and we can then zoom out and look at the entire table surface and see the results of what we have done. In this scenario, the user has brought a game that they wish to play with them on their handheld to a common playing area. This game with a map is too large to work on a handheld, but the handheld was easy to carry and bring with. By spilling it onto the tabletop, we now have the game in all of its displays. This is actually easier to use than a physical game because we can move it around and work where we desire to and whatever is comfortable instead of reaching across the game board. On a real game, what we would have is physical game pieces strewn all over the table because of trying to move it in this way. In this case, the user needs to do a dragging motion, which is not possible in the limited space of the handheld. By using the non-dominant hand, the user easily scrolled the work and accomplished the desired technique. Once the user has completed their turn, it's easy to pass the game to the next player and have the work oriented appropriately for him. The Diamond Touch operates by establishing a circuit between the tabletop, through the user's body, and into a conductive pad on the chair of the user. What we see is in the histograms above is the signal that's being received from the Diamond Touch. We get in each of X and Y 2 or 3 peaks. From these peaks and the rigid geometry of our conductive frame, we deduce the position and orientation of our handheld device. We have demonstrated spilling from a handheld onto a larger tabletop, giving increased display and use space.